That's the thing with the fact checkers. So recently I did a video where we had a WHO official basically backtracking on the lockdowns, specifically saying that they should not be used as the primary source. And of course, the AP is fact checking it because now it's Trump's distortions on WHO and lockdowns. Now, nowhere apparently on their website has the WHO changed their position, but this person who is an official of the WHO says they've never held the position that is currently being promoted in the media. So of course, the AP is coming to everyone's fact checking now. It's Facebook, it's the Associated Press. And we're going to go over this fact check, and then we're going to make our way to another fact check because it's the fact checker time. So let's check some facts. President Donald Trump is claiming the World Health Organization shifted its stance on the lockdown measures to control COVID-19 and has now acknowledged he was right to say such restrictions are harmful. Listen, the guy clearly says that they're harmful and then can cause more harm than good. And he talked about a doubling of world poverty and a doubling of child malnutrition the globe over. We're going to have to play the clip because we're going to have to read this nonsense and show you. Oh, that's a distortion. They love that's a distortion. Instead of saying it's mostly true or that it's unclear whether or not, this World Health official speaks for the entire organization, it's a distortion. Trump, the World Health Organization just admitted that I was right. Lockdowns are killing countries all over the world. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. Open up your states, Democrat governors. Open up New York. A long battle, but they finally did the right thing, tweet Monday. He puts that out there, and now the White House, over the weekend, the World Health Organization officially changed their policy and strongly stated that prolonged lockdowns must end because of their significant harms. White House official in a call Monday with reporters speaking on condition of anonymity. So once again, here comes the fact check, and they're twisting words out of context. The WHO has not shifted its position that national stay-at-home orders or lockdowns should be considered a measure of last resort to contain the virus. Nor did they ever declare that Trump was right on his COVID-19 response. Wait, what? Huh? So now it's like he appeared to be referring to comments made last week by Dr. David Nabarro, one of 6 special envoys to the WHO on COVID-19. So this is an official WHO spokesperson, one of 6, who does work and is speaking, he's saying, on behalf of the organization. But we're going to play the clip. Okay, but again, this is the fact check. COVID-1984, everybody. This is the fact check. We in the World Health Organization, so no, he's speaking for the World Health Organization, do not advocate lockdowns as the primary means to control the virus. Wow. He added the lockdowns can only be justified to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather not do it. By and large, we'd rather not do it. And I'm no fan of the WHO. I want to make that extremely clear, or the United Nations in general. Okay? Since declaring the coronavirus a pandemic in March, the WHO has said if countries decide to go into lockdown, it should be considered temporary, and they should use the time to implement measures like testing, tracing, and I hate the tracing thing, informal local populations, and promoting physical distancing. Again, I don't agree with the WHO. I'm just pointing out that this official has said this, okay? Nowhere in his interview did Navarro mention Trump. So what? Navarro has advocated a middle path for addressing the coronavirus, a middle path. This fucking doublespeak. This is ridiculous. With measures in between lockdowns and allowing the virus to run wild and build up herd immunity and disappear, which Trump has promoted. They love trying to push that. Oh, they want herd immunity. As if herd immunity's never existed. People make me ill. In the early months of the pandemic, Trump pushed for lifting of lockdowns orders as the head of the WHO, Tedros, I hate his name, you should call him World Health Organization criminal, led to a deadly resurgence. Dun, dun, dun. So there you go. Okay. Now they admit at the bottom that they've been insignificant, or inconsistent with their recommendations of mask wearing, which they opposed to the general public in the beginning. But they say the stay-at-home lockdown measures haven't changed. You know what they don't put up here? You know what they don't put up here? They don't put up at all the fact this guy said a doubling of world poverty, okay, which again proved Trump right, and a doubling of child malnutrition. That's what they don't put up there. So we'll have to do it. We'll do it live. Let's see if we WHO. Here we go. It's right here. This is the official. Why don't we let him speak? That's what we want to do.
But we had Professor Sunetra Gupta from Oxford University on, and she was implying, and I'm interested in you because you have a global mandate, a global view, was that a problem we don't think about in lockdowns is that they're very nationalistic. That if we lock down our economy, then it hits our economy. But it also means we are not buying stuff, we're not trading with weaker economies, we are not just destroying our own jobs, we're destroying the jobs of all those that in the poorer parts of the world that export to us. That seemed to me to be a reasonable point.
Really important point by Professor Gupta. I want to say it again. We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of this virus. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather not do it.
So now he says, by and large, we'd rather not do it. He's using the term we, okay? He said this is not a primary use to control the virus. But do you see the fact check? And now here's the part they're going to leave out completely about the fact check.
Just look at what's happened to the tourism industry, for example, in the Caribbean or in the Pacific, because people aren't taking their holidays. Look what's happened to smallholder farmers all over the world because their markets have got dented. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may well have a doubling of world poverty by next year.
A doubling of world poverty next year. Gee, Associated Press, you missed that fucking fact. You didn't want to put that in there. So bizarre. Huh. But you're the arbiters of truth, right? And here's maybe the more alarming part.
We may well have at least a doubling of child malnutrition because children are not getting meals at school and their parents in poor families are not able to afford it. This is
at least a doubling of child malnutrition.
Terrible, ghastly global catastrophe, actually. And so we really do appeal to all world leaders. Stop using lockdown as your primary control method. Develop better systems for doing it. Work together and learn from each other. But remember, lockdowns just have one consequence that you must never, ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer.
Wow, I missed that part too. Making poor people an awful lot poorer. Oh, that one thing. He said one thing. Man, they missed that in the fact check. How could that be? How could that? I mean, Associated Press. And just to kind of, move on to another type of fact check as we go along in this maiden voyage, if you will, live on Rockfin, exclusive on Rockfin for free. All you premium members are going to get this whole thing, and then we're going to cut up a few of these videos and put them over on YouTube. But Biden did not eulogize former KKK Grand Wizard. And they're referring to Robert Byrd, okay? This political figure who was in the KKK for years and years and years and years. We're talking about in the KKK in the 40s, okay? And he got up pretty high in the KKK, but apparently he never held the position of Grand Wizard. And of course, they tried to denote, Byrd's biography where he says he doesn't know what he was thinking while he was part of the KKK for all those years. So, they really want to push that, like the headline, Biden did not eulogize former KKK Grand Wizard. Do you think that if Trump eulogized anybody that was in the KKK, even if, every liberal in the world was referring to them as a Grand Wizard and they weren't, this would get a fact check? Just the facts. Of course it wouldn't. Of course it wouldn't. But this is the point. They're never going to fact check the Hearst publications of the world, the CNNs of the world, right? And they've been doing this fake news stuff, this propaganda for years and years and years and years. Oh, and I just want to point this out. I mean, this is from 2005, okay? This is from 2005. Now, you look at this, and what do we have here? This woman who is rowing her boat. Let's see if we get the video. And making it look like a flood. It's not a flood. It's not where it says. People walk right by or blow her spot up.
But first, the severe flooding here in the Northeast as more rain continues to fall today. NBC's Michelle Kaczynski, I guess she's in the canoe, is in Wayne, New Jersey this morning.
Hey,
Michelle, good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, obviously we're getting a nice break from the rain, but not the flooding. This is essentially now a part of the Passaic River in this neighborhood. It rushed in yesterday.
Without a beat. Just without a beat. Just without a beat. Like she needed to be in a canoe. We're talking about ankle deep water here. So listen, CNN, the Today Show, Fox News, they've all set up narratives. Every single one of them. They're all guilty of it. Let's not make any mistakes. Let's not have any illusions about it. But I also want to show you how not only is this not new, but it's actively, again, being censored across all platforms. So we're going to get to James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, and I want you to look at this. Basically, what it says is the tweet is unavailable. What's it referring to? It says, the idea that this is new is absurd. We're an empire now, and we act. We create our own reality. And while you're studying that reality, judiciously as you will, we'll act again, creating other new realities. That's Karl Rove. That's from years and years and years ago. And you'll notice that I'm quoting a tweet by James O'Keefe where he's showing pieces of his investigation in ballot harvesting and getting rid of it and all these lies the media is telling about him. And I'm sympathetic to James O'Keefe on this one. You notice how it says the tweet is unavailable. Why is the tweet unavailable? Did they take it down? Did James take it down? Nope. You go to the tweet, and it's actually up. Active censorship. That is active censorship within my feed. Okay, so we're going to play this video. We're going to comment on it as we go. But this fact check thing that we've been going over is a joke. It's dangerous. It's ridiculous.
1984 isn't just the year that I was born. What we're seeing now isn't just allegory. We've reached the tipping point of the future that George Orwell prophesied.
And here's the thing. We reached that tipping point a long time ago, James. A long time ago. Okay? We reached it even before 9/11 when they gaslit us on the original World Trade Center bombing. Okay? When they refused to look at what actually happened at Oklahoma City. And that may cause people to feel uncomfortable. Go do the research yourself. Go watch the videos at Oklahoma City of bomb trucks going in and getting explosives out of that building. And that their governor, Keating, at the time, actually confirmed it. It's an invisible empire, a new world order defined. Oh, I'm not supposed to use that term like the hundreds of political figures that use that term in my film? That's the reality. So this isn't new. We hit the tipping point some time ago. Now we're over the edge and we're cascading on a truck with no brakes, downhill. Probably into a volcano. I'm not going to lie. It's bad.
On Facebook, just now, everyone who ever shared that Minnesota ballot harvesting investigation has received a notification, and you can see it on your screen here, quote, false information found in your post. This has been posted under every single person who posted that video. It says independent fact checkers at USA Today, there's a reputable publication, say information in your post is partly false. To stop the spread of false news, we've added a notice to your post. You can check out additional reporting from independent fact checkers. So who are these independent fact checkers and who fact checks them?
Nobody. Nobody fact checks them. We've just shown you what? I think 2 different examples before we have Twitter outwardly censoring this video of how absurd their fact checking is, whether it be the Associated Press or whether it be Facebook. And now we're going to talk about CIA Today. Okay?
Let's go look at this USA Today article. In this USA Today article, it says, fact check, no proof of alleged voter fraud scheme or connection to Representative Ilhan Omar. Now, in this USA Today article, they say this, quote, it all depends when the Snapchats were filmed, which is impossible to verify based on the videos. Project Veritas claims, without proof, that they were on July 1st and 2nd. Well, that's rich.
I mean, it is rich. Because now you're accusing them of doctoring stuff. Because the timestamps are there, and yeah, you can doctor things, but let's be honest. Just like the Hunter Biden emails are real and they just try to say unverified, and now they're spinning it into some narrative where it was the Ruskies in an intelligence operation with no foundation whatsoever in reality. They literally just say they can't verify when these videos were put out there. They obviously could forensically, by the way, because they can see when they were created digitally. But what about the watermarks that are already on them?
Because on the Snapchat, you can actually see the dates. This is a matter of record. The guy posted this to his Snapchat. We pulled it on July 1st and 2nd. It says it right there. You can see the dates. And USA Today is just saying without proof. Well, what they're saying is without proof. What they're saying is without evidence. What USA Today is doing has no grounds. But they're just saying the opposite of what is incontrovertibly so in the Snapchat clip.
It's just like when you have Popular Mechanics for 14 years saying that our 8 Mile debris field is a Googling error with Google Maps and at Indian Lake ignoring the secondary debris field over a mountain ridge in New Baltimore, ignoring the photographic evidence of that debris and the eyewitnesses that collected it, right? Gaslighting 101. The press, if you will, is a protected class, that is protected because what are they doing? They're protecting the predator class and their minions.
USA Today also says, quote, other footage like Muhammad's Snapchats may have been taken out of context. For example, those clips, some of which appear to depict him handling absentee ballots. They don't appear to depict him. He actually is doing this. What possible evidence do you need other than the man holding all those ballots at 2 a.m.?
He's correct. I mean, it doesn't depict him doing anything but what he's doing. And again, there's all these different sets of standards for people that are not what? Approved journalists, authoritative sources. But really, again, really just PR for the true authoritarians that want to hide the truth from you.
2 in the morning, still hustling.
Or in his car with ballots all over his lap and his friend's lap and the dashboard. What other evidence do you need? What context could possibly exist that could excuse that if the Minnesota law says having more than 3 ballots in your possession is against the law? The Minnesota trial court that ultimately put that did not overturn the statute. It merely temporarily restrained the Secretary of State from enforcing that law. Therefore, the actions of Lieberman on that tape are illegal, and it says July 1st and 2nd.
He's right about every single thing there. Say what you want about the guy, but that is 100% correct.
So these fact checkers are themselves engaged in fake news. Who's fact-checking them? Facebook.com. Perhaps the most shocking part of the USA Today article is them recycling the New York Times headline that the New York Times is in the process of retracting. This is the researchers claim video as part of a, quote, coordinated disinformation campaign. That supposed coordinated disinformation was based upon a media embargoes ahead of time. That's not disinformation. That's asking people for comment. But most remarkable about the New York Times story is the New York Times was coordinating with Stanford Election Integrity Project as part of their own disinformation campaign. That admitted to us by the New York Times General Counsel David McCraw, who admitted it was thoroughly misguided.
Look at this. Thoroughly misguided, okay, right here, and making, doesn't turn statements of speculation into statements of fact. So again, they're admitting it's all speculation. It's ridiculous. And again, it's not speculation. It's a concerted effort to suppress the truth.
It was academic speculation what they did. So they were doing their own disinformation on Project Veritas. They're projecting onto us that which they are doing. They are engaged in disinformation to try to discredit us, to lay the groundwork for our real reporting to not be disseminated through social media. It is what it is. I've got people texting me across the United States right now. I just got a text from someone in Pennsylvania. They said, our station in Scranton is getting our Facebook page censored for sharing our video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have crossed the tipping point.
So again, he keeps saying cross the tipping point because people in the mainstream are now being censored for sharing his video. But we crossed the tipping point well before that. And I'd say we were on that downward slide as soon as we started taking doctors and censoring their opinions. Really, any of these fact checks that are out there, okay, that are suppressing truth or of the nature that we already read here are criminal. They're ridiculous. And remember, these tech overlords, Schmidt in particular, they want that one answer. That one answer, that golden answer. Only one. Forget about a sharing of ideas, a discussion of dissent. We no longer want that. Accountability for criminal actions. Well, that's for the few and far between.
This is unbelievable. I have never seen anything like this. Never in my career. Are they able to take apples and make them bananas? Say that up is down, left is right. It's straight out of the manual, the Goldstein manual, in 1984. Quote, to tell deliberate lies while genuinely believing in them. To forget any fact that has become inconvenient, and then when it becomes necessary again, to draw it back from oblivion for just so long as it is needed. To deny the existence of objective reality, just like that Snapchat timestamp, and all the while to take account of the reality which one denies. Even in using the word doublethink, it is necessary to exercise doublethink, for in using the word, one admits that one is tampering with reality. USA Today, the New York Times, and Facebook are tampering with reality. This isn't pretend. These people are on tape. Objectively. It's real. It's incontrovertible evidence. And I would swear under oath in a court of law as to that, as would any of my colleagues.
Good, and I hope you do. So let's get the lawsuits going, James.
We are in 1984. The solution? We're going to sue the bastards if they don't correct this and correct it immediately.
Good. Let's get the lawsuits going. And again, I'm not trying to play into the left-right paradigm, but James does good work. And that piece was real. It was as real as it gets. It was as real as it gets. Period.